Hello again everyone and welcome back to Reddit Aliens. I am John and as always thank you so much for being here. A good topic for you today. I think we're going to get a lot of responses. Let's do it. What's the scariest or creepiest thing you've ever come across on YouTube or the internet? Some of these videos will definitely be not safe for work. This topic should be okay. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Back in 2015, I had a cousin gone missing, and because of his behavior prior to that, resentment towards society and suicidal thoughts, his father suspected he was planning to put an end to his life. So, by the fourth day after he went missing, I was in school checking my WhatsApp, and in a random neighborhood group, someone sent pictures of a random dude who jumped from a telephone tower near our house. I'm not into gore, but unfortunately my phone was configured to auto-download photos, and when I opened my camera roll, I saw my cousin dead with his neck broken. It was awful. 10 seconds after I saw the photos, my father calls me to give me the news and warn me that people were sharing the photos online, but by that time it was too late. This is not as bad as many on here, but it was shocking to me. I stumbled on a video of a guy cutting a lady's neck in the distance. I just remember there being trees, bushes, I don't know, just greenery around, and the lady's shirt was blue. They weren't very close to the cam, but you can see the woman moving on the floor as the guy is slicing. So, I decided to look into this. I found a site that claimed it was a fake video. Phew, what a relief. I kept scrolling through the searches and saw another site stating that the video thought to be fake was actually real. What a roller coaster. I think it was Chechen. Helmet cam footage from a war. During an attack, soldiers got flanked. Camera guy gets shot pretty bad and hears his mates dying in the background. Then there's footsteps. A guy comes close and says, "Oh, a camera, nice." He grabs it and walks off while filming the trenches with the bodies in there. He yells at his mate, "We got 'em all. I found a camera and it's still recording." They both rejoice. Coldest thing. Footage of a guy getting his throat slashed in a mall. Don't quote me on this, somewhere in Australia. The stabbed guy stands there with his hands on his throat for a few seconds, and when he lets go, there is so much blood coming out of his neck. Like, all of it at once just gushes out. He falls to the floor and that's it. I was not expecting that at all, and I'm pretty sure he died almost instantly. Ugh. I don't know if this counts as scary, but it was creepy. I found out that my estranged father posted family videos to YouTube without telling or asking anyone. One of them was me as a toddler naked in a bath. One of the most viewed videos was of my mom breastfeeding me when I was a baby. He also put the full names of several people, me included, in the titles. This only came to my attention because a cousin of mine found these videos by looking up my name. Saw a video of a girl who making a Snapchat of hers and her sister drunk driving recklessly on the highway. The video ends, then begins the next video of her recording after the crash, her sister with her skull split in half all the way down her face, moaning. The second is a man and woman in a car. The man is showing off a pistol. The woman tried to be cheeky and snatches the pistol and points it at the man and pulls the trigger. You know, being silly. Fires straight into the man's head, and his eyes roll back, and he's still sitting up but swaying back and forth while groaning and begins agonal breathing. The woman is confused, gets out, and runs away. Another was a man getting caught in a large spinning lathe and being repeatedly smacked into concrete until he's turned into a bloody pulp, and someone runs over and turns the machine off. All unintentionally seen. Thanks, Internet. Have family who live in a small rural town. Wanted to see if there were any YouTube content featuring the town. There wasn't, but I came across a YouTube channel that had a video that was just a featureless screen with the name of the town, then repeat the name of the town, and "It's a wonderful place to live, it's a wonderful place to live" in a robotic voice. Thing is, there were hundreds of random towns, all the same thing. Never found the channel again. You know, of all the gore and violence I read in this post today, I find this one the most interesting and probably the most creepy. Just imagine if your small town came up and something like that. I love this. I mean, sucks that it's not there, but very. When I first came across Tor, I would spend hours following random links. Obviously, I know how stupid that is now. One day I came across a directory full of crime scene reports, including photos and some videos. There were several autopsy reports, too. To this day, the image of Mexican cartel members that have been shot in the head with hollow points still pops into my head ever now and again. People who think they know how to handle firearms but shouldn't be in the same city as a gun. Guy shoots a steel plate 100 yards away with a Beretta 50 BMG. You hear him nicked by the ricochet before you hear the steel get hit. Women firing Desert Eagle 50 cals AEs and getting smacked in the face by the recoil. They all look funny, but that's because nobody dies. The couple who tried to make a video using a telephone book to stop a bullet after seeing others do it. Others using a .22 LR. They used a .44 Magnum, oh boy. She took 2 years for involuntary manslaughter. Oof. Probably Funky Town and or the Timothy Treadwell recreated audio. For those who are unaware of what those are, Funky Town is a video made by a Southern or Central American, I believe Mexican, cartel. Dude's laying on the ground. His face and eyes have been removed. His hands are gone. Blood coats everything. Cartel members are jamming sticks into his mouth, cutting his tongue with razors, and slashing at his throat. He's alive and screaming the entire time, and Funky Town is playing in the background. Timothy Treadwell was a nature enthusiast who spent 13 summers, getting to know the bears in Alaska before a bear he knew as the Machine, I think, killed and ate him while his camera was recording. Afterwards, it killed and ate his girlfriend. The audio was never released, but there's a recreated audio out there. Warning, it is extremely disturbing to listen to. Bears do not go right for the kill. Like most big cat species still have to worry about their prey fighting and hurting them. An 800-pound grizzly does not, and they tend to just hold their prey down and start eating, and eventually the prey dies from being eaten. A close third is or was a video of a small dog that had been cooked. Its skin was crispy and golden brown, and it was alive, yelping. Eyes obviously gone, paws gone, alive, yelping. Ugh. In the mid-90s, I remember when I was 11 trying to find naked pictures of 11-year-old girls. I had absolutely zero idea about internet porn being a thing. Kind of wasn't back then, I guess. And just wanted to know what girls look like naked. Well, I found the pics, and 11-year-old me was satisfied and didn't think much of it until a fair few years later when I realized I spent about an hour on the internet and found CP. That was way too easy for a kid to find, and thank F it didn't end up with cops raiding grandparents' house. I have a vivid memory of finding a live stream website streaming hidden cameras in public toilets when I was probably 10 or 11. I was morbidly curious and watched a few thinking it was fake, but realized that it was in fact not. I was so young that I didn't know what emotion to feel. It was posted in a sexual manner, and yet it was so disgusting to see people casually in a private situation like that. Ever since then, I've been horrified of cameras in public toilets or the bowl of porta potties. The internet is a very weird and horrifying place. I don't really get scared of anything I see in a screen. Everything from cartel videos down to creepypastas, nothing ever puts fear in me. I'm not saying that is a good thing, because I know it's probably not good to be so desensitized. But I can say 2 videos that made me feel so sad I almost couldn't watch them all the way through. The infamous Russian brick video, and a video where a young girl called 911 screaming and sobbing because her brother killed himself and his corpse was on the floor of their house. I was relatively okay until the end where she screamed, "Why did you do that?" apparently to her dead brother. That is just an utterly miserable thing to hear, especially from what I believe was an 8-year-old. I wouldn't necessarily say it's scary, but it was shocking. In 2019, I was watching YouTube and clicked on this video that said, Man in truck hits 2 kids in crosswalk, one dead, the other is in a coma. I clicked on it only because my cousins go to school, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't them. They didn't provide the names of the students, but they did show a picture of the man who drove into them. The man was my cousin, 54 years old, off his medications, slammed his 2,500-pound truck into 2 children. He got arrested and was sentenced to 1 effing day. He still has the truck, and the kid who died lived 4 houses down from them. I remember keeping it hidden, and then my family found out about it from the other family. Well, that's a pretty right on the nose title of a video, and sorry that happened for your family. Obviously, I'm much more sorry for the children that were deeply affected and lost their lives and livelihood from this. So horrible. A lot of videos were already mentioned, so I'll go with another one. There's a 2-hour-long interview with Armin Muse, the cannibal of Rothenburg, on YouTube, but it's only in German, and the translator doesn't work well. But when you can speak German, it's both very interesting and very bizarre. Muse speaks about his entire life, how he grew up, what he did for work, and all the regular things before he starts with talking about the cannibalism. He goes through the protocol, how he met Bernd Brandes, a guy that wanted to be killed and eaten. I'm not joking now. That guy wasn't a victim in the way that he was kidnapped and killed against his own will. No, he searched on the web for a cannibal that would eat him. After some time, there comes the point where you realize that Brandes was even worse than Muse. Like Brandes tried to eat his dick. After Muse cut it off, he joked like, "When I'm still alive tomorrow, we will eat my balls for breakfast," and such things. Ugh. Muse is still in prison and is now a vegetarian. Guess he had enough meat. And the main question, which tastes have human meat, is answered by Muse as, "It is just like pork. You don't notice any difference to animal meat." Back when I was 12 to 14, the internet was still not crazy everywhere, and RuneScape was new. I could only play it at the public library. I would sell my runes because I needed every single cape, and would rather buy them than hunt them down. One of my buyers started chatting a lot, and he was funny. We would mine runes together for hours and chat about me. I learned internet lingo from him like ASL. He asked if he could send me cool Game Boy games, so I gave him my address. He asked if I needed money, so he sent me a few bucks at a time, and I thought it was really cool that he had folded them into shapes of hearts. We talked every day after school, 5 days a week, since I didn't have access to the library on weekends. He asked me after a few months if he could hang out with me, and I said that would be fun. My parents saw me buying stuff and asked where I was getting all the money, and I told them about my cool new friend, and I kept getting upset when they said no more RuneScape, but I still got to go to the library because they liked that I would be in a public space while they were still at work when school let out. They told my best friend's mom about the internet friend because she worked at the school, and she noticed I figured out how to play RuneScape on lunch break on the computer in homeroom. I noticed about a week after my internet friend didn't show up for our mining sessions that my money letters had stopped too. Then one day a few years later, I found out my parents were helping another pair of parents with their kid who met a stranger online, and that had an experience catching 42-year-olds from Florida trying to hang out with middle schoolers. I was pretty upset they took away my heart money. I really wanted the new Fire Emblem. When I was a kid, I made a bunch of goofy-ass YouTube videos with my friends. I came across a random guy's YouTube channel who also made goofy, corny videos and was slightly more successful than me, which wasn't much. I had like 40 subscribers, lol. I guess when I was a wee lad, I wanted to be a famous YouTuber. Anyways, I emailed this guy who had a few thousand subscribers and asked him how to get bigger on YouTube. He was a few years older than me, maybe a freshman in high school at the time. I was in middle school at the time. Anyway, I start going back and forth with this guy every once in a while talking about YouTube stuff. After a little while, He probably got annoyed of me asking for advice or whatever, and he stopped responding. A few years go by, and I forgot about it. But for nostalgic purposes, I would occasionally go back and revisit his honestly cringe and shitty channel. At a certain point, I noticed he had been inactive for a few years, and I occasionally wondered what the guy might be up to. Alright, so what's creepy about this? Well, fast forward a few more years, probably like 2 years ago now. I'm being lazy one night, just scrolling through YouTube, and I see a video from a more famous YouTuber who covers true crime and creepy shit. It has the cringe guy's face in the thumbnail. The video was titled something to the effect of YouTuber loses his mind, kill coworkers, and mass shooting. I talked to this dude on social media as a kid. Turned out he had killed several coworkers and himself with a shotgun. Gave me chills. It's another example of, you don't really know someone until you kind of know them. Like you could speak to a stranger across the miles through the internet or between a screen, and it can just be a time bomb waiting to go off. Crazy. On Vimeo, I searched an actor's nickname and found a group of videos of a young boy. He was in a kiddie Speedo and paying in an above-ground pool on a slide with an older man. The child was probably 5 to 7 or 8. I'm not great with ages, and it was about 10 years ago. The older man was never shown more than his arms or part of his torso or legs. The boy was happy and running around, and the man would get him to go down the slide and spin and do somersaults by the side of the pool. The camera was always very tight on the boy. I think I remember slow-mo when he did somersaults as well. The camera would creepily linger on parts of the boy's body. No touching or anything specifically inappropriate happened in the video, but it made me feel sick. I reported it, and in the comments of submitting the report, said I thought the boy was being abused or groomed. I worry about him and sometimes wish I sent it to the police. I worry it was taken down without any follow-up to the creator or any investigation. I tried to find the videos again to send them to the police a few days later, but they were gone. I really hope he's okay and the report was actually followed up on.